Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the pleasure to have my friends Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and Lucas Murphy, the beat of Kansas City, on the show today. We are going to preview the Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the Eagles. This game kicks off on Sunday at 3:25 at Arrowhead Stadium. It should be a good one. The Chiefs are currently 1.5-point underdogs at home, which should be a very fascinating storyline heading into this game. But fellas, I want to ask you, what is your confidence level going into this Super Bowl rematch? We'll go ahead and start with Josh.
I am cautiously optimistic because I think the Chiefs can definitely win this game, and I think they're a lot better than they showed in Week 1. But it's just a really tough matchup for them Week 2, and it's almost like, I don't know. I want to feel like this Chiefs team, they're too good. They've been through too much. We've seen enough of them that this is the type of game where they're going to bounce back. But, man, if those issues from Week 1 don't get cleaned up fast, it's going to be really tough.
I'm going to be that person that is overly optimistic. I am heading into this game with a lot of belief in this team. I don't think that this team is ignoring the outside noise. I think this team is seeing what the outside noise is talking about them. The lack of energy, the lack of motivation, this team's dynasty's over, like the list goes on and on. They got former NFL players just absolutely dogging them. I mean, that stuff just doesn't go unnoticed, I think. And then with the ability to be on social media, you got this game being in Arrowhead. It's the opening night. They have the Naval guys singing the national anthem, Tyrann Mathieu banging the drum, the B2 or some type of insane flyover is going to happen. And then you're talking about a fan base that did not forget what happened in the Super Bowl. We are the loudest outdoor stadium in the NFL. Like, there's so many factors I feel like that are in a positive for the Kansas City Chiefs that I just think that it's inevitable, like Thanos, to take this and win this football game. I truly do. I think the Eagles are destined to win or lose this one because of just kind of everything kind of culminating and coming together. And I think this will kind of spark the season for the Chiefs.
Well, Lucas, I hope you're right. I mean, I'm optimistic going into this game because with Patrick Mahomes, you always have a chance to win. But I also saw what happened in the Super Bowl, and I also saw what happened in Week 1, and I didn't really see that much of a different Chiefs team. So hopefully we see a different team on the field at Arrowhead on Sunday. I will tell you this, though. The Eagles are going to be slightly different than they were back in February. Now, they're still a good team. They still have a fantastic pass rush, headlined by Jalen Carter, who shouldn't be playing in this game because he spit on Dak Prescott, but that's neither here nor there. But they've also got a secondary with a lot of young talent, Cooper DeJean, and other talent in that secondary as well. They also have a veteran by the name of Adoree Jackson, and that guy got absolutely picked on by the Dallas Cowboys, and I think that could be one big key for this Chiefs offense that didn't look that bad against the Chargers. They just lost their number one wide receiver on the first series of the game. So I think the Chiefs, and specifically Patrick Mahomes, should pinpoint that secondary and some of the youth and inexperience, and also some of the veterans that might be a step or two past their prime. But I do think that secondary specifically, the Chiefs can throw on.
Yeah, I think they can, and I think that the Eagles' secondary is a little bit weak right now, as you pointed out, Michael. But if there's a concern that I have, it's that, and Lucas, this kind of goes into what you said, how the Chiefs remember what happened in that Super Bowl. And, I mean, I want to believe that will get them fired up to win this game. But I think what we saw in Week 1, like, that was supposed to be the game that kicked off the season, the revenge tour, because the Chiefs were so pissed off about what happened in the Super Bowl. And we didn't see it in that game. It's like, okay, Week 1, whatever, not a big deal. If we don't see an improvement in Week 2, then I'm going to be more concerned. But to go with that point, what I was going to say is that, Michael, like you mentioned, the weak secondary, it is weak, but how many times did we say that about this Chiefs offense last year? Oh, man, this is a great matchup for the Chiefs, for the offense to finally have a get-right game. They can finally pass on this team. and they just never took advantage of those bad defenses like they should have. They didn't have the personnel to do so. And I'm still a little bit concerned that they might not have the personnel to do so in this game because there's no Rice, there's no Worthy. Probably not going to be any Royals either because he still hasn't been practicing. It's a game that I think, if the circumstances were better, I'd easily pick the Chiefs to win, but there's just a lot going against them right now.
Man, I'm just really excited, I think, about the opportunity of what this defense looks a little bit different than what they did in the Super Bowl. I think, they were even talking on the local radio station today that, like, even the Eagles are in desperate need for pass rush, which seems kind of strange to me, but it does make sense because they obviously go, get Zadarius Smith, and they're still actively looking on the market for pass rushers. Like, the secondary, and it's something that we kind of dynamically talked about in videos about the Chiefs. It's like, well, if you're not getting to the quarterback with your pass rush, then you're really putting your corners at a disadvantage. You're really pushing your safeties at a disadvantage. The fact that this secondary is a lot younger, there is some more exposure. One of their linebackers is a rookie starting. I mean, there's a lot of vulnerabilities on this defense that I don't think were there in the Super Bowl. I really think that they had an absolute mission and a game plan that just was executed flawlessly in the Super Bowl. I think coming into Arrowhead provides just a completely different dynamic. And I think with Mahomes kind of having that chip that I need to prove that this team is better will expose what that Eagles defense is. I mean, Darcy, you've talked about it. We saw what the Cowboys were able to do against this Eagles defense. And I'm not saying that the Dallas Cowboys are a terrible offense, but they just traded away their best defensive player. You can't tell me morale was at an all-time high. And the fact that they still went out there and were able to put a very quality, good product out there and compete against the Super Bowl champs tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs have even that much better of an advantage because of that.
When they would have won if CeeDee Lamb could catch the football. That was one of the big storylines coming out of that game. He just couldn't hold on to it down the stretch. But, I like the advantages the Chiefs have on the Eagles defense. But to Josh's point, the Chiefs didn't take advantage of that a lot last year. And so I want to see Patrick Mahomes go out in this game and run an efficient offense. And while I don't think the offense was the reason you lost that game in Brazil, it wasn't helpful. Like, outside of Patrick Mahomes, guys didn't really show up. And so I want to see Travis Kelce and Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, and I want to see them go to their running game. The Eagles are going to try to run the ball with Saquon Barkley. I mean, just looking at their stats last week, their wide receivers like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they did practically nothing. Smith had 3 catches for 16 yards, and Brown had 1 target for 8 yards. They didn't really target their wide receivers. They're going to try to target them against, a secondary that gave up a lot of yards to the Chargers last week. And so can the Chiefs defense, and specifically the secondary, adjust to what the Eagles offense tries to do? What I mean by that, don't put Trent McDuffie on A.J. Brown. That's not a good matchup for him. Like, put him back in the slot and have him guard a Jahan Dotson or someone else they line up in the slot. And also, if you just want to talk about, other things the Chiefs need to do defensively, you got to get to the quarterback. You got to apply pressure on Jalen Hurts. If you don't do that, you're not going to win this football game. And it all starts with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones and the guys up front. And I'm looking at guys like Charles Omenihu, Mike Dana, and Derek Nottie, who had a 0% win rate in Week 1. Can't have that. They got to be better.
Yeah, we just talked about that over on my channel. I think as far as that goes and the pass rush, I think you need to live and die with your best athletes, your best players on the field, the players that, when they're playing their best, give you the best chance to get to the quarterback. And I don't think you could necessarily say that was the case for Week 1.
Another thing to consider, too, is they are going to be down one weapon that that Hurts really likes a lot, and it looks like Dallas Goedert may potentially be out of this game. I don't think he's practiced at all this week. I think he is dealing with a pretty significant injury that's kind of been lingering. And so I'm curious to know if he doesn't play, how that obviously frees up a little bit of who we're really looking to cover. Those are some pretty eye-glaring statistics for A.J. Brown, but I knew that they have a pretty good lockdown corner that was kind of hovering him last week, and they were expecting from a fantasy perspective that Devonta Smith was really going to go off, and it doesn't sound like he did that at all. So, yeah, it was more of a Saquon Barkley game. So I really kind of am curious how the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs is really game planning and scheming for this team because, like you said, we gave up 300-plus yards to a Chargers team. We really didn't expect to do that. And the fact that they have the ability to throw the football, which we saw, is going to be I'll be curious to see how they manage that. I wonder if they're going to be more likely to give Barkley some running downs and choose to lock down the pass, or if it's vice versa and how they approached it with the Chargers. It'll just be interesting to see.
I'll tell you what, I definitely don't want to see Saquon Barkley beat this defense, because if that's the case, the Chiefs' defense is never getting off the field. And I think that we can all agree that the single biggest factor in this game is what the Chiefs' defense looks like on Sunday. If they look good, if the pass rush is getting home, if the secondary is able to stay on the guys, and limit A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and, I like what you said about, Goddard. I think he is questionable, and I don't think he's going to play. So if you can just shore up things defensively, I think the offense will take suit. And I do think that offense has some pretty, good advantages going into this game. And I want to talk about more of those right after this break. This video is sponsored by my friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, meaning no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on healing. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. At Rice Real Estate Group, they're more than just a real estate team. They're a full-service partner in residential, commercial, and investment properties. They specialize in guiding clients through every stage, from the buying and selling process to handling complex, short sale situations with ease. Their passion lies in the personal one-on-one care they bring to every client relationship, ensuring each experience is tailored, smooth, and successful. Here it's all about building trust, delivering expertise, and ensuring every client feels valued throughout their journey. For more information, call Marla Rice at 816-819-9333. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported this channel during the season. Now, when we look at the Chiefs' offense against this Eagles' defense, I think it's so easy to look at the wide receivers and the tight ends. Kelsey's obviously eager to have a big game. He wants to go out there and, bring more energy, show up more than he did in the first week against the Chargers. But I see an Eagles defense that is expecting Patrick Mahomes to throw 40 times. I think this is the perfect opportunity to run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco. They're not going to do it, but I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I think we all wish they would at least give the running game more of a chance, especially if it looks like early on it's similar to a repeat of the Super Bowl where the Eagles were just hitting Mahomes over and over again. You need to get the running game involved, not just to switch it up, but also to protect Patrick Mahomes from taking so many unnecessary hits, and that's exactly what running the ball can do.
I just want to see us run the football. I love the dynamic of the game, the ability. I mean, you set aside what the Chiefs are able to do. I mean, we're getting one of the best opposing running backs coming into Kansas City, so seeing what the Chiefs could potentially have in a style of running back in a Saquon Barkley, could you imagine that in our offense? I mean, that would be phenomenal. We've talked about that. So I really think it would be just, overall, I think it would just be exciting to see us get a run game going because that opens up the pass game. That allows for different, plays to be ran that maybe catches the team off guard. And one thing that we've kind of talked in the offseason that this team really has kind of started to do more is throw the ball deep. We saw it in the first game, and we saw it to Tyquan Thornton. The fact that he's still healthy and able to play, I think, still allows for those types of plays to be ran. And so if you're running the football, you're going to be able to be more likely to catch those, a defense like the Eagles off guard because you're able to run the football. And so it really does start with that. And I think that that's huge. I want to see more than Pacheco, though. I want to see some guys like give me some Brashard Smith out there a little bit. Like, create a little bit of a dynamic where, like, oh, is he maybe going to catch the football out of the backfield? Like, did we even see a running back catch the football last week? I don't think so. We didn't see one.
Did on 4th down, but that was it.
Well, hold on real quick. I was going to say, because I think Lucas is onto something there, because I was going to say no, I didn't think a running back caught the ball out of the backfield. But the play in which Kelsey scored a touchdown against the Chargers, I mentioned this earlier in the week. That was a play in which Brashard Smith was lined up as a wide receiver. They brought him into motion going over to the right side, and he was actually the main distraction on that play that allowed for Travis Kelsey to get open.
All right. So I just hope that give me one running back screen. You know what I mean? Like, create a kink in this to where it does throw them off, and like utilize the running game more to open these types of plays.
When the Chiefs, and specifically Andy Reid, has struggled against the Eagles the past 2 times they played them, they've lost both times, and one of them was at Arrowhead, and then obviously the one was in the Super Bowl. But I think that the Chiefs are almost going into this game, and they need to treat it like a must-win. And the only reason I say that, because it is just week 2, this game is so incredibly important. I think more so the fact that you're playing the Eagles at home, it makes it even more important. We're going to find out what our team's like based on the result on Sunday. Because if they just roll over and die, I can't say that means that they're going to be good the rest of the season. Like, obviously they can change after week 2, but I feel like it's kind of go time. And if they don't go now, when are they going to? So again, it's not getting any easier. It's only getting harder as the schedule goes on. So I want to see the Chiefs' best on Sunday, and I think that we all do. But I think that is all the time we have for this preview. My final question for both of you is, where can the people find your stuff? And we'll start with Josh.
You can find me here on YouTube. Channel name is Show Me Football. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com. Follow the Twitter at ShowMeFB.
And Lucas?
I thought I recognized that in my comment section the other day. You can check me out at the Beat of KC on YouTube as well as Twitter. Head over there, post a lot of the clips from videos and things on there. So appreciate you guys checking out the Twitter page.
And guys, all that stuff will be linked in the description of this video. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.